Hello there, good morning. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, there's something in August. I think it's the 14th. I'm not sure, it could be later. Anyway, I'm Dani Henderson, spiritual therapist, and I'm so excited to bring two new friends to you today. These people are angelic beings. They come from the highest frequency of musicality. They go around the world, into schools, into beautiful situations, doing sound bars, and they're with us today to bring some of their beautiful, loving emotion and intelligence to you. I'm so delighted to have them. And I welcome you, Mathis and Marishka. Welcome, my darling friends.
Thank you.
Hello, dearest Dani.
Hi, darling. Hi there. So good to be with you today. I did a broadcast with my friend Sherry Divband, who is a person who is really trying to bring in the 4 and 5D schooling for our children. And we'd already planned to do this, the three of us. I think it's just such a perfect complement to continuing bringing our attention to the children, bringing our attention to our own inner child. But there's many different instruments that you both play together. And Mathis, we're going to start with you. And I'd love for you to play your beautiful monochord, please.
Of course.
Beautiful. Stunning. I can still feel that in my heart, and I hope you guys out there can too. The sound might be a little distorted, but it's really to bring you the essence and the vibratory resonance of these instruments and what they can do, especially when they're played by people like Mathis and Marishka. Can you tell us a little bit of the history of the monochord?
Yes, here's the monochord. So basically, that's an ancient instrument that's been revived recently. It comes from ancient Greece, and it was an invention from Pythagoras. And what it is mainly is just strings that are all tuned to the same note. And that one is tuned to the note C. And as you play the strings, they create resonance between themselves, and they create different layers, different what we call harmonics, which is beautiful. And this is a portable one, so you can put it on the body. So actually when I play it, then the body of the client resonates with these frequencies. It's beautiful. And that one is made from a German company. Beautiful. They actually made beds. They make also like chairs. So you sit in the chair, and the chair is the instrument. Is something else.
You know, it's returning, like it's returning to the ancient times, the ancient luxuries that everybody had in their household. And Pythagoras invented that very machine, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful instrument.
And what is the wood that it is made from?
It's a soft wood. I don't know which one it is, but it's some beautiful soft wood. I can find out, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I know some of the maple is sometimes used. It kind of looks a little bit like maple. Sorry about this, everybody.
It's maple or rosewood, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, something soft.
Very soft and light.
Yeah, and vibratory.
Actually, something that people, if you are into DIY, you can make it yourself. Because really what it is it's a box, a hollow box, and then strings. I mean, I couldn't, but you know, there are some YouTube videos if you want to try it out.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful. Okay, let's move to our next instrument, Mathis.
Put it there.
Okay.
And I think
Yes.
this is going to be the Rav.
So that's something we use as well with the children, or when we run our transformational sound journeys. And it's like it sounds a little bit like what people know as hand pans. It's a slightly different version, and I'm just going to play it for you.
Ooh, I got the goosies. It's wonderful. So I want to say to the viewers that will see this, hi guys, isn't this so exciting? Mathis and Marishka. I would advise everyone puts their headphones in when they're listening to this, because it is reverbing in my solar plexus, in the back of my heart. It is so special what you both bring. And of course, I'm going to put your details underneath, but just as we're going through, guys, you can look up You, Me, Art at Arts, You, Me, Arts, and Quirky Zen, because they are a bit quirky, but we like quirky. Quirky works. Quirky runs the world, does it not? Does it not?
Quirky runs the world.
Definitely. Well, Marishka, let's you and I have a little conversation, girl. So I'd like you, Marishka, to really introduce yourself. Share a little bit, just a snapshot of what it was like growing up, being awake and aware of spirituality and various different things, and how you came to meet your beloved.
Thank you for having us. And thank you, Mathis. It's always so beautiful. Even living with these instruments, we play them every day to lift our heart frequencies, and every single time it's always magical and really beautiful. And I'm very privileged that we are here at this space and at this time for such a time as this, and then we get to work with these sacred instruments. I feel very privileged. I grew up in London. I grew up in Southeast London, and being awake, I had a near-death experience at 2.5, and I think that just opened up everything. And to be honest, it was lonely as fuck. It was super, super. And I was like, I remember when I was 12, and I was like at some sort of Girl Guides, like weekly event, and I didn't resonate with it. I didn't really hang out with people my age. I liked animals and I liked the elderly. And then I felt safe, and I really enjoyed that space with animals and the elderly. And then I remember like not vibing with what was happening with the Girl Guides, and I went into the chapel and I was sat in prayer, and I had a vision, a download of it was a war, but it was a silent war, and there was no bloodshed. And I was super confused. I was like, what is that about? Because even at 12 years old, there's so much programming that you know what blood is, you know what war is, excuse me, and you know that there's plenty of bloodshed. So I was like, what is that? What is that? I'm so confused. What is it? And obviously, as time passes, you realize that, we're in a war, in a spiritual war, and it's a silent war. It's a spiritual war. So there is no bloodshed. And so, even from 12 years old, I was being really prepared for such a time as this. But it was tough because even though I come from a line of witches and priestesses from my Irish lineage, we've all been so silenced for so long that my mother, my aunt, grandmother, and so on and so forth, they never really got to harness their giftings and their powers and bring them forth to the world because it's been suppressed for so very long. So for me, I didn't really I was having all of these experiences with beautiful angelic beings and then super dark, nasty creatures. And to be honest, I thought when I was, I think between 18 and 19, that I was schizophrenic. I was like, I'm losing the plot. I'm totally losing the plot. What is happening with me? But as time went on, more and more was revealed to me. And I actually found that I really enjoyed spending more time not in this realm, not in this 3D space. That I was more held, loved, seen, connected, actually being of service here on this plane, when I am truly connected with divine living love source. But it was tough. It was very, very hard. And like I said at the beginning, lonely.
Yeah.
So
yeah, girl, I know that journey too, as you well know. We've had our conversations. I just want to go back a little bit to one thing you said about your ancient feminine lineage. And you mentioned witches. Now, you know, there are some really silly people that can't think but on the program they've been plugged into. And so the actual full term for witch is wise woman. It is wise woman. It's just bastardized to make it look like you're crazy. And if you and I are crazy, great, we're crazy. Cuckoo. Bye-bye. Yeah. So wanted to kind of highlight that because you don't sound like a crazy dark witch that's done black magic and you're a priestess and all of that bollocks. You just straight down the line, the most beautiful lineage of beloveds, you know, intelligent women, beautiful women. The second thing, I can't let you skip over this part. At 2.5, you had an NDE, a near-death experience. Can you just give us a little insight into that, please?
It's a little bit of a tough one because others are involved in it. And I think that to bring it to a public platform would be quite tough.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
But I chose. I wanted to leave the world, basically. I was like, what am I doing here? I've changed my mind. I want to go back. No. But yeah. But then I came back like with it's like I shot out into the heavenly realms and they were like, sorry, you've made a contract. And then I came back, I was like, right, if I'm going back, I need a million and one more tools. So I just grabbed more tools and then came back with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
How clever. How very clever.
And it was a very vivid memory. Yeah, clear as day. I was 2.5, but clear as day. I could remember everything. Yeah. Everything that happened, choices that I made, waking up, being revived, going into the beautiful crystal light and being told, no, it's not your time. And I was like, all right, but please, I need some more then because it's really heavy duty down there.
Yeah, totally. Most definitely. Wow. Marishka, what you can't see is the way that your beloved is looking at you throughout this conversation. It's just so adorable. There's going to be some people watching who are going to be well gel at this union.
We work on it, you know, like 15 years. We just celebrated our 15 years together and we actually hosted a tribe of shamans in our home on our 15th year anniversary. It just happened that way. as we do. But yeah, it was, I was celibate for a good 3 years before I met Mathis. I lost a really dear friend of mine. And it was super hard. Like I lost my voice. The grief got stuck literally in my throat. And at the time I was a professor of movement and dance at the Royal College of Music. And so my voice was an incredibly powerful tool. And to not have a voice was very difficult. Like literally some days I was like that. or I had no voice at all. I'd be like, hello. Super tough, grief stuck in my throat. And I decided to go on a spiritual journey, and I went to some really beautiful places. I went to Syria, to Pakistan.
And that was after 9/11, right?
So very awake, very conscious of all that was really going on and how things were rolling out. And so and I made a decision to be celibate. And I was like, I just really want to go internally. I want to find out really, truly who I am. What is my essence? What is Marishka's essence? And a really good friend of mine gave me some specific questions about, okay, well, what do you really want in a mate? And so, I was like, I want them to be heart-centered, love the arts, bring to the table stuff that I don't really know, and we can have really engaging conversations. I want them to light up my world, so on and so forth. 3 years I was celibate for, and then I went to a festival, and at the festival I was with a really good friend, and she was a little off her tits and I wasn't, and we were going over the fields and she wanted meat and I just wanted fruit, so we weren't doing very well. We were like differing all over the place. And then I saw this big truck all lit up, and I was like, we need to go there. So I charge on over and I say to the guy, what are you selling? And he's like, I'm selling nuts. And I was like, that's the last thing I want
For
breakfast. And then but my guides were like, no, wait, stay. So I've learned, I really had to learn the hard way as well, that you got to be patient, you got to be persistent, you got to just hold your horses. And so I was just having a little look around, and I saw something happening in the back, so I climbed on up, bold brassy Marishka, and looked over, and there was someone in the background cutting something up, and I was like, hello. And Mathis looked up, he's like, bonjour. Mathis is French, who really got it. And, we shared melon. He was cutting up a melon. He shared his breakfast with me. We sat under a tree and we were just really vibing. Like my hands were going crazy, like this energy. And I was like, who are you and what do you do? My hands are really pulsating. And he was like, I'm a drummer. So already I was tuning into his vibe and his frequency. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful, because I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer and an actress. And our fairy tale began. Like Mathis is my feet respond to his beats, and it's been such a beautiful love affair. But we work on it.
Yeah, because it's ups and downs and roundabouts.
Yeah. But the music, I think, holds it together, doesn't it? Really does.
Yes, the art. So yes.
I love it. So beautiful. And within this union of loving each other, being real, husband and wife, or true beloveds. Oh no, somebody's trying to call me. And you're on speaker, guys, just so you know.
Okay.
And because we've had technical issues today. I don't know if you can hear the phone ringing. I hope you can't. Okay. Wanted to let you know that, so when you guys speak, you're on full screen, and I can't change it back now. It's all good. And I want to highlight the instruments, but also thank you for sharing that beautiful love story, and the fact that you came together and that you've been going around the world just harmonizing frequency with children. Can you share with the audience the what you've noticed, let's say for our autistic or our children that hold special gifts within them that others might call special needs, but I prefer to refer as special gifts? Can you give us an idea?
Me over my career teaching and bringing sound and music therapy into schools, I've done a lot of work with special gifts children, and they're able to connect very deeply and swiftly with music. So first I started with drums. It's very tactile for them. They can touch, they can feel, they can smell, and they love it. And for some children, I know one, for example, I have one good example. It changed his life completely. It turned his life around. He was able to just connect, and then we ended up having one-to-one. And there's something magical for them, because sometimes they can't use speech or very little, or sometimes they just can't in a classroom environment really connect and sit down and do all these writing and everything. But music is just it's very powerful, because it can help them release, it can help them connect and express themselves through the drums, or more recently in the last 5 years or so with gongs and more sacred instruments like ocean drums, like instruments that create different sound, rain sticks. they can express themselves in that way, you know, and really create beautiful music. So yeah, for me, it's very powerful using musical instruments, whether they're the sacred ones, the gongs, and the ones that we use now, or more traditional ones. For children with special gifts, they're a great tool. They're a great tool, definitely.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Marishka, do you want to share your journey, long-term journey now, working with many, many children over the years with special gifts?
I've worked with children and I've worked with adults. And so I use the vehicle of performing arts. I use dance and drama and mindfulness. And then Mathis and I collaborate together, and that's a whole other beautiful, wonderful force. But so I would talk about the whole thing, the music and the arts. And I think that what's really powerful is that it becomes this tool for people to express stuff where they don't usually have a space to share. It's like a safe space. You know, we often get people, especially kids, they will always talk about a loss, like grief, or something that was really quite traumatic that they experienced. And they've never been given a space to share this stuff because the adults would be dealing with their own stuff, right? And they think, oh, maybe the kids don't really know what's going on and it's probably better to just leave it that way. Whereas, don't get it twisted, they are very, very aware of everything that's going on. And if anything, they're probably more aware and attuned to stuff that's happening than we are. And we don't give them a voice. We don't get on a level with them. Like Mathis and I, we say we don't teach, we facilitate. We hold space. We hold a safe container for people to show up and release and express whatever they would like to. But for me, that's what I think is probably one of the most powerful things, is create an environment where children and adults can come and release some blockages, release stuff that's sitting in there and creating some maybe trauma, or not allowing them to show up in the most confident and creative way that they could. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the most powerful things that I've witnessed, and why we continue to do our work, because we know it's really necessary and it's very needed, especially now.
Especially now.
Ripped away from all of our education systems and in our environments, you know.
Yeah. So we've all been watching this slow genocide run by the retards who are in charge of the planet, or who were in charge of the planet. And those retards took away the most beautiful, important gifts in schools for children. They took away music, dance, drama, art, the things that really nourish the soul. And remembering also that we, us human beings, our bodies are musical instruments. And, you know, you take a didgeridoo, let's say, the Australians' long didgeridoo, and you blow that, and you feel the reverberations of that in your body. So many things are healed by the vibration of music. Now, Mathis, can we move to your crystal bowl? Could you tell us a little bit about it and then just give us some of the harmonics from it, please?
Crystal bowls. So what I can tell you about them is they create a pure tone. They're pretty much 99.99% quartz. That's how a traditional crystal ball looks like. And they were not invented as instruments. It was like an accident. They were made as a container to put like liquid and create like electronic parts or something. Wikipedia explains it very well. And somehow some guy one day in the 60s or 70s realized that they create a pure tone. So they're a bit of an accident, but they're amazing. I've had some of the most healing journey on crystal balls, you know, even with headphones, because sometimes with headphones you can really, really get into it and really hear the sound. So I'm going to play one of we've got a set of 4, but these are a beautiful instrument to have, to resonate with. And you were saying about the power of our body. If you just tone like just the sound, you know, like with a crystal balls or Himalayan singing bowls, that can have some amazing healing properties, healing powers. So anybody out there that's feeling a bit down, or maybe they've got a disease within them, you know, get a crystal ball, get singing bowls, or if you can't afford it, just put some music, some crystal bowls or singing bowls on YouTube and tone with it. It's beautiful. So I'm going to play it with my wand and enjoy.
I really hope that all the viewers that watch this can really hear that, and you know, the monochord and the rev drum, so beautiful. And again, just reminding everyone, reminding adults who were once children themselves. A lot of us had the gift of music lessons at school, and we learned instruments, and it was always such a part. And me, for example, that's the only class I ever got A's and B's in, because I could respond to music, and I was such a naughty, distracted ADD, couldn't concentrate, and every other class was D's, E's, and F's. And as we move forward, of course, they're going to insist that grades are removed. We don't grade the children, we don't raise them in judgment. No, we let them find what reverberates for them and what is also healing and beautiful for them. Mathis, could we please move to the gong? And before we do, could you give an idea to parents or even adults who know other adults who might be stuck or blocked? Could you explain how you do the different tonings with the gongs and what you believe happens inside the human vessel?
Yeah, sure. So what I can say about these gongs, because there's different type of gongs, but these are the traditional Chinese gongs coming from now the infamous Wuhan, but that's where they've been made for thousands of years or hundreds. These, they're hand hammered. So each gong will have a slightly different sound. Okay, but this is a type of gong called the wind gong. So and it's rimless. It's like a disc. So the center, you get more of a rounder sound, and as you go towards the edge, it's a bit more of a shimmery sound. And what I found when I played for myself or when I played for others is, you know, when you surrender to the sound,
Yes.
because you have to surrender, you know, like if you get stuck in your mind with your monkey mind saying, oh, analyzing the sound and not wanting to, then you're going to be stuck in there. But if you let go and surrender to the wave of sound, then you can feel it like really at a cellular level, you know, and you don't need to believe in any sort of practices, you know, it will work. You know, people might have elements that go away. People might have like things stuck, you know, emotions or psychological, you know, like feelings, they will go away. They will dissolve. So it's a very powerful instrument, extremely powerful. So that's what I would have to say. But we see everybody resonate with it differently. But I think they're getting so popular because they work.
Absolutely.
In the West, anyway, they're being brought back into our consciousness because they work. So I'm going to play this for a little bit with this particular beater, mallet, and then I will play the other gong right behind me, which is called a chow gong, which has got more of an earthy sound. And that one's got a very thick rim. And I will play it with this. It's called the flumi. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. That one is made actually in the UK in Wales. And it creates an otherworldly sound. I can't describe it. I don't know what it is. But it's just, some people like describe it as out of space, otherworldly. I just love it. I can get lost in it. So there we go. I'll start with this one. And again, if you have headphones, best to put your headphones on.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is such a treat, guys, such a treat. And I know, you know, the people that watch this, it's going to be such a lovely, different, you know, viewing for them. But again, as we're all on this ascension, ascending with our beautiful planet, we're all coming into our own healing on all these different levels. And it really is helpful for parents in particular to understand the need and the hunger that children have for this kind of rhythmic vibratory resonance, and they themselves, the healing that can happen in such a quick, you know, amount of time or no time. And I just want to honor the work that you two do and have done for so many years, traveling the world. And now you're in Costa Rica like me. We're neighbors.
Pura vida.
Pura vida, pura vida. Oh,
Mañana, mañana.
Mañana, hasta mañana. Sometimes you can shove the pura vida though, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, when you open the drawer
Yeah.
and there's like 4 or 5 cockroaches and you've got the cleanest house in the world, you know, or there's a swarm. I sat here one night a few months ago and I rang my friend Diane Forster and I said, don't ever let me forget this night. There was a swarm of, I don't know what they were, flying some things, hundreds of thousands of them. And all I could do was sit in one corner of the living room and just wait. Well, just drink. I mean, what are you going to do when you're inside a horror film? Yeah, it was awful, awful. But I mean,
please, may I speak to that? May I speak to it?
Yes.
Because we're totally guided to come to Costa Rica. I make a vision board every January. And in 2020, before everything rolled out, I made a vision board. And everything on that vision board had come to pass, apart from being somewhere where there were monkeys. I kid you not, that was on my vision board. And beautiful sunsets with a chosen tribe walking into that sunset. And then in November of 2020, I had a guided dream that we needed to pack up, move fast, and go to Costa Rica and take the sacred instruments.
With a sense of urgency.
With a sense of urgency. And then it was just, we left, we did everything in 2 weeks and we went. We didn't really tell anyone because we didn't want all the fear factor coming in. And we moved as a unit and we made it happen. And you weren't actually really allowed to leave the country. We put on our invisible cloaks and we went.
And a few weeks after that, that's when they had the last lockdown in the UK, which from what we understand, broke a lot of people's spirit, you know, like people like couldn't take it. So we felt like we'd done the right choice to do it quick.
Totally, swiftly, like the, so, and Costa Rica has been beautiful. It's been an amazing sanctuary for us. We're very, very blessed and privileged to be here. Mm-hmm. But I feel like what it's done is it's really made us level up, and so rapidly. Like, as you were saying, like all the bugs and mañana, like it's like, that's, oh, tomorrow we'll do it. Like for me as a Londoner and Mathis, you know, like 20 years in London as well, I won't even walk on the pavements in London. I was walking on the road because I was like, you're moving too slow. You know, for me to come to Costa Rica with this laid back vibe, and also the frequency, the energy is so high here.
It really is.
It's time to really adapt and adjust, and I had to surrender into it. But we've been on a massive journey of individuation, like individuating who am I, who is Mathis, without all of that chaos, without all of that bullshit, without all of those labels, you know, not being daughter to, not being friend to, not, you know, wearing all these lovely, beautiful things and going out and drinking and so on and so forth. There's a time and a place for it, no judgment. But for us, we needed to level up. And I'm so glad that we got moved to Costa Rica. It's been hard, like super. We've had to really dig deep, and, you know, resilience and courage and really lean into each other. We're very grateful for one another and our divine little daughter, Gaia. She's amazing. But Costa Rica is something else. But I highly recommend a visit. It's the frequency is like nothing else I've ever witnessed in the world. It's so pure and virginal, but it does require you to open your heart space and surrender, and then it's able to come in and do the work that's necessary for your soul.
It's pretty amazing. Obviously everybody has their own unique individual journey in Costa Rica, or leaving, going into the jungle. The jungle will own you. You will never own the jungle.
That's for sure.
And then the sea, the mighty sea, you know, you have the jungle, and then you have the sea, and you have these waterfalls, you know, like you are so at the mercy of the elements. But if you surrender to them, then they open up and give you their magic. Their so beautiful divine magic.
That's right. And so healers.
So many beautiful healers.
Yes.
A lot of people come, and the thing that I found concerning was the journey, the ayahuasca journey, the mother ayahuasca journey, because it's becoming extremely commercialized. And even some of the most ancient shamans are like, why are young people coming and doing an ayahuasca journey every 3 to 5 days, every weekend? And then they wonder why they're having what's called a bad journey. You know, that medicine is to be respected, you know, but
absolutely.
Each to their own. Everyone's on a journey. Some are on a fast track too. So, and where I live in Costa Rica, it is crystals, literal quartz crystals wash up on the beach. I just find that so magical, knowing that underneath it is a high vibratory quartz element, and all of your stuff is going to come up for healing in that kind of an environment. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most
absolutely.
Definitely. Mathis, would you like to share anything in particular about your journey in coming together with this beautiful goddess, and anything in terms of your spiritual, you know, quest?
Yes, sure. So what I can say is I've always been kind of aware that something was not quite right. I didn't feel like I fitted in from a young age. And my awakening came from a political point of view, firstly, as I came from a family in France where there was a lot of gathering talking about, you know, like the government and a lot of politics. And I was drawn to them, you know, like you have to imagine 80s in France, lots of fags being smoked around the late night dinner table. My grandfather had a very low, rumbly voice like that because he smoked cigars, and he was very socialist, you know, because Second World War was only around the corner, you know, for them it was very in their memory, and France, you know, was rebuilt by the socialists, the communists and the far right all coming together. So I came from that environment, knowing that there was a lot of injustices, you know, and corruption. And when I came to London and 9/11 happened, I was a student and I just didn't believe it. And then 7/7 the same, but I just didn't know. It was just in my guts. And eventually I met a beautiful man, Sam Zaman is now in the sky looking above us. And he became my mentor and a musical mentor. We made music together. He was known as State of Bengal, and he had an amazing story to tell where he came from, and he was very awakened And you know, he got me into the world of like people like David Icke and things like that, and then the underworld and all I was going under, you know, because he was very
politically engaged.
Yeah, as well, and he got shut down for talking too loud on mainstreams, because he had that platform at one point of his musical career. So he opened me up even more on a different level, and then the health aspect of it, you know, because his dad is a very well-known homeopath, and so like Dr. Mercola at the time and Green Med Health by Sayoji. So they were looking at the food and what they're putting in your body. So I became aware of all of that, and then Marishka came into my life, and wow, and that was just like next level, because she just connected me spiritually. You know, she said to me that you're the first human being that I'm sharing my experiences with other beings. Having, you know, she's for demons and she's seen like, you know, like pure light. So she shared that with me, and then at the same time we had people come into our lives who had similar kind of awakening, and then we were looking at orbs together. We like our friend Avale, he you know, like something that I know of is we only see so much light, the naked eye, and then there's so much more of the light that we don't see, and often that's probably where a lot of these beings live, you know, different frequencies, and so our friend, he started looking into orbs. So he got this nighttime vision camera, so he could see the orbs, and we were looking at orbs all the time, and he was showing us things, you know, showing us footage of orbs. And then something happened, I don't know, but for weeks I would go at night and I would see like what seemed like orbs, and I would close my eyes, and I was on no substances whatsoever, and I would just see these thousands of orbs as if I was looking into the sky and I was seeing stars, and I would open my eyes and they would be there everywhere. And for me it was like confirmation that yes, these exist, you know. Your girlfriend at the time, Marishka, she's told you all these stories. Now you've got Jay, and then you're aware of, you know, of it from all the reading that you're doing, and I just dive deep down the rabbit hole, you know. And being a lover of history, I loved ancient history, so I could go on. That's another story for another time. But like people like Grant Hancock, I loved his research into the lost civilization, and looked into, you know, what is called junk DNA. That it's not junk, it's just somehow untapped.
How
because
rude.
I believe more and more now that it's like we've been severed, that connection's been we've been disconnected from who we truly were, who we truly are meant to be, and it's coming back now. And so looking at all of this kind of made me awaken more and more, and then finally, you know, I mean, you know, like life went up and down, and I kind of shut down for years because it was too much. I think a bit like Marishka, she was like, this is all too much. And then you have the pressure, you know, like back then I was still like very much people pleaser, you know, I need to do that, I need to fit in, I need to do what others do. Oh, they're buying a property, we should look into buying a property ourselves. You got to work hard and then do all these things. And then Gaia came into the picture 5 years ago. And so, you know, you're on the wheel of, you know, you go and make the money. And so when 2020 and all that crazy nonsense happened, because from the beginning we would not comply and we could see what was unfolding, it kind of reawakening to me that fire that I had. And it's like, all of this is bullshit. I don't believe in any of it. We don't need that. That's not making me happy. And actually, all that you've researched in the past, and also you're born into the system with the legal system, and then your strawman and all of this, you know, suddenly came back into like it was like a flash, you know, like, wake up, you know. And so we came here, and here I've had just a very, very profound spiritual awakening. I found divine light. You know, before I was on the political side, on the more like, you know, like side of, you know, like being awakened, but from more of, okay, beings do exist, there's ancient history, all of that, all of knowledge, you know, like quite in the head. And here I've just kind of, I've shifted and I've just slowly gone into my heart, and that's been beautiful. But that's been Costa Rica, like Marishka said, for me, having the space and the time and being in contact with nature so much, and also being away from all that web of EMF from the city, that you realize when you're out of it, it's very strong. You don't realize, you get used to it. You don't really sleep that well at night. You feel a bit tired, you feel uneasy. And we had to go back in the UK at the start of the year, having been here for nearly a year and a half, just over a year. So I felt really clean going there, spiritually, physically, emotionally, psychologically. And wow, we just felt London, there's something else, that low vibrational energy and very dense. And we know that obviously 5G is being switched on and everywhere, and that we felt it. For me, I felt it. It had an impact on me. Having been in the jungle here, away from all of that, I could feel like something was happening to my body. So
thank goodness for the instruments.
So we're very happy we're here. But that's kind of me in a nutshell. In a slow, long process. I think for some people, COVID and all of that, what happened is they had a super quick awakening. Or not, but a lot did.
We'll try not to say that word, of course, because of the miserable China bots that pick up on those words and then spoil everyone's fun. So this is amazing, and I'm so delighted that we've come together in this way, the three of us. I'm so happy to share my channel with you and to bring the music and your companies. So it's You, Me, Arts, ARTS, and Quirky Zen. And you literally, people come to you, you go to them, you are open to be flown around the world and properly looked after and honored, and with your entourage of instruments, not people, instruments.
That's right.
And give sound blessings and healings and concerts and gatherings. And please share more. What else is it that people could gain from you for themselves and their kids?
We've just found our venue that we're going to hold our family retreats from, which will be really beautiful. They're going to be in Montezuma here in Costa Rica, with a really lovely family, a father, his daughter and her husband and their 2 children. It's an amazing space, access to our own waterfall, 2 shalas, lots of pools. And the retreats, they're all about connecting through play. Often people go off and have holidays together, and dad goes and does one thing and mum does something else, and the kids are going over there to do something. You can have that after 3 o'clock. Before that, you're with us 9 till 3. You're with us. The kids are maybe doing things as well. You're all together as a family, and we will use the vehicle of music, performing arts, various other different modalities that Mathis and I use. I'm a trained holistic life coach and a sophrologist. Mathis is a trained musician, and we will bring in other facilitators. But that's something that we're channeling a lot of our heart space and our energies into the family retreats, because we're very aware that that unit has always been targeted. Like if right from the start, makes me feel emotional. If right from the start that foundation is wonky and is broken, then we haven't really got anywhere to go from that, and I imagine most people haven't always had a very easy childhood, and then you carry these patterns through, you become parents, and you're playing these patterns out, and you're like, oh fuck, that's not me, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing, I know it's not right, but I don't know how to stop it. I know I'm being really serious, but I don't know how to show up and play. So for Mathis and I, we've experienced this stuff ourselves, and we've learned and understood and read and practiced. And this is what is our calling right now, is to work with families, bring families together into a space where they can heal, fall in love again, see each other in a new light, and explore. And it's all held together by really yummy food as well. Mathis and I are massive foodies.
Yes, we love good food.
We really like good food, but and working with kids, we just ran a really wonderful summer camp here in Costa Rica. there's nothing like it. Mathis and I have both been in the education system for over 20 years, you know, and we've never seen anything like what we do. It's really, really interesting, like from sound baths to mindful nature walks,
tea ceremony.
Tea ceremonies. We had
Kids
the
love
kids. Yes, we're very privileged and honoured. We feel really, really blessed.
But we also do, you know, I love to do one-to-one, because we see when you do a one-to-one sound journey, you can really go deep in the subconscious and work on different part of your body, you know, like physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological, and really unlock, release some of these things that might be stuck, like blockages in your body. And that can be done like in person or also online now. You know, people have embraced online, and you know, now with good microphones, it works, headphones, people can really feel that power too. People shouldn't feel like they can't access that if they're somewhere living remote, and there's no sound therapist around them. It's now online worldwide. You can access any sound therapist from anywhere around the world.
We both do one-to-one.
Yeah, and same with your Marishka sophrology work, which is about guided meditation and visualization. And well, she could explain better than I do, but you know, that work can be done remotely now these days. You don't necessarily, well, you know, you do it as well.
Exactly, I do. Yeah, you
People
know,
have to,
it's such a beautiful exchange of gifts, you know, that so many of us have. And you know, with your musicality, it's a safe place also, because what concerned me over the last 2 years was the amount of people who were hypnotizing clients online. Well, you know, Costa Rica, the internet drops out all the time. How dreadful, right? Imagine if you're in a hypnotic trance, and you're just hitting something really emotional, and the therapist goes bye-bye because the internet's dropped. It's always very disturbing.
But it's there no matter what. You know, we are frequency and we are energy. If the internet drops out, it's still there. We're still connected. So something as well that Mathis and I want to bring more to people is how to waken up your magical abilities. You can call it magic, you can call it psychic. You know, there's so many labels that we can put on, but it's time to switch on and tune in. You know, like, and the veil is very thin. It's now, you know.
Definitely. And to my point, that I know that you two are so respectful and you keep everyone safe and you create safe environments for children, for adults. It's beautiful. And what I was saying was the negative side for me in my profession as a clinical hypnotherapist, I do not hypnotize online, you know, because there's always that danger that someone's going to get dropped in my care. Whereas you know, you're playing the music, they're getting a really deep experience internally in a safe place. So if the internet did drop, well, it's no problem. They're going to remain in a safe place, a safe container. Yeah, safe container. Well, I would love to continue for 3 more days straight with you two. What I think I'd like to do is get your last words, and then I'm going to say goodbye. And then Mathis, would you play us out for a couple of minutes on the monochord, please? And then we'll just close out that way, ladies and jelly beans out there. I think that would be really nice.
Definitely, I would love to.
Okay.
Last few words.
Thank you, Dani. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up with your divine, authentic self. I love you.
I love you too.
I look forward to being with you at your conference in October. Come, people, come. Please, please. It's going to be amazing. You will not regret it for a moment. And thank you, Mathis. I'm full of gratitude. My heart is full of gratitude. I overflow with love and respect for who we are and where we are and what we're able to share at this time and space. And we hope and pray that we are able to connect with more of you and many others.
Definitely.
Blessings.
Thank you. And I'll just say yes, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us on your platform. Very grateful. And people watching, you know, just look out for us. There'll be links to how to find us in the description of this video and connect, you know, and hopefully we might see you online or see you at some of our retreats that will be running into the new year.
And we're going to start doing ecstatic dance online. Mathis and I are both ecstatic dance
That's something
DJs.
we didn't mention, but we love to dance. We love to move. And we love to get people moving. And again, it's in a safe space. What we like to do is for people not to be in a space of judgment.
Yeah.
So it's all about release. And it's all about being held and being loved and loving yourself.
Loving yourself and shaking your bits and having a good release.
That's right.
Shake what your mama gave you or your papa.
Exactly.
Brilliant, beautiful. Thank you guys so much. So to the viewers out there, we're just going to leave Mathis here to play us out, and I send you guys my love, and I will definitely see you soon, you two, and to you viewers out there also. And Mathis, when you are ready, my darling, take it away.